In an attempt to combat the highest teen pregnancy rate in Western Europe, the UK government is encouraging teens to masturbate, saying they have a right to an orgasm a day. They can have one a day, according to the UK.
It's like a vitamin.
It's part of a healthy lifestyle. Now, I myself agree with such a thing, you know. But how do you guys feel?
By the way, having just sounded like the prude of the world, and as I said, I'm not there. I just want to say that.
You just don't want the kids to go.
No, okay.
Right.
I agree. I think that, especially a young boy, has very strong sexual impulses, and what they're trying to do is to say, do this to yourself and don't feel you got to go out and get some girl. I mean, that's what they're trying to do.
Hopefully they are saying to young girls, and here's how you can do this as well.
I remember being
it's not a conversation that we've had.
But isn't this like telling Donald Trump to make money? I mean, it's like, duh. They're encouraging, they're reminding people to do something that...
I went to an all-girls Catholic school, and we didn't really touch on like sex education fully, but I remember there was someone who came in one time for a seminar and mentioned the word masturbation, and then she was never to be seen again. But there was, she disappeared. They sent her away. But I think that it's also important, I don't know, they have the highest teen pregnancy rate in Europe, right? So I think it's important to also not just tackle it from one angle, but also still encourage them to develop relationships and understand which context in which sex occurs is the most healthy. You know, being one that you're in a committed relationship, ideally married.
But I think that would be sex education.
The other side too. I think
sex education. Then it sounds like.
I believe that it should be taught within a context, and also not just dropping the ball on teaching them relationships and commitment, and not only the physical needs, but also the emotional needs. I think that especially with females, the emotional. What happens to a girl emotionally when she gets involved sexually is just as important as physically.
You had a situation yourself.
Well, it's so funny because they're teaching the kids that they should do it, and I remember being in church and there was a sermon about it it was in our singles group, being celibate, about...
But this is now, this is...
Yeah, about masturbation and the fact that you shouldn't do it.
Really?
Yeah, because...
Sorry, what are we talking about? You had this discussion last week?
Yeah, this was like very recently in church, and the fact that you shouldn't do it because of the images and the fantasies you have to create in your mind are sinful. So so you shouldn't do it.
If you're looking at a magazine, then you have to create it.
But no, you still have the visions.
I don't have to think of anything but myself. And after the show, I'll tell you what my technique is. Absolutely, I love myself. Listen, I believe that sexuality is something that should be shared between a man and a woman, or two men, or whoever. But it's a shared environment. As I am servicing and making you feel fantastic, you need to be doing the same thing to me. And I feel, if I don't want to go out and find somebody, that I will do it myself just because I love myself.
And also,
but I think...
But if you're at church, when you discussed wanting to masturbate because you're trying to be celibate, they disapproved.
Well, you're right, because, everybody felt like you can't pleasure yourself without creating stuff in your head.
Let me tell you something. You can, if you're doing it right, you can be mentally cleaning the refrigerator and it'll still work.
I don't think she's talking about technique. I think she's talking about the meaning behind it in terms of,
Okay, folks, I'd like to just say one thing before you go. At least we're not talking about Michael Jackson or Sarah Palin. What are the shows doing?